Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. The people at Star Ace have asked me to take a look at their 1/8 scale figure of the Flash from the television show. Let's see how it turned out. Alright, first up let's take a look at what's inside. You've got a fully costumed figure here, fully posable, multiple points of articulation, including the feet. The accessories. The accessories include these optional gel lightning effects that I plan to use to full effect in photography. The hands, extra hands are limited to basically some fist options, 2 closed fists and 1 for holding this lightning bolt. In addition, you have the vortex effect. Fists, hands, whatever you want to call them, a head sculpt of Barry Allen, and a folded down version of the mask to make it simulate like he's actually taken the mask off the back of his head and it's just hanging there. Altogether, not a bad bunch of accessories. I'm really kind of digging it, and let's see what I was able to pull off with it. First impressions of the figure body are that the joints are nice and tight, not unpleasantly so, not to the extent that you're going to need to do anything to loosen them up. They just hold poses really, really well. One thing that I was concerned about was this, putting the lightning bolt into the closed fist. I was afraid that I was going to wind up breaking the lightning bolt, but it proved fairly sturdy. All the same, I think I'd recommend that everybody be very, very careful with it. I don't want anybody to wind up breaking them and saying, "You said it was tough." First impressions of the suit are that it's fairly sturdy. I am no plastics expert, but sometimes when I'm playing with figures and they have this sort of material that they use for a suit, I get the impression that over time it's going to dry out, crack, and do something of that sort. Otherwise deteriorate, and I don't necessarily get that impression from this. However, I think that some caution should be used when you're flexing the joints, the elbows and the knees to the extreme. Try to pull the fabric down towards the joint a little bit just to provide a little bit of slack so that you're not getting like a Gamora issue that Gamora had with the Hot Toys with the elbows poking out of the suit. While the figure itself is sturdy enough to stand on its own, I think that you'll find that you'll benefit quite a bit from using this dynamic support stand that they've included. Most of the really interesting poses you're going to be able to hit with the Flash will require it. You're not going to be able to balance him on one foot, for instance, or in a really dynamic wind-up for throwing this electric bolt like I'm getting ready to show you how to do now. The support stand itself is really nothing new in concept. The only remarkable difference about it is the scale. One thing that I noted is that I found it remarkably easier to work with than its 6-scale counterparts that we've seen from not just Star Ace but other companies as well. The lightning effects for the wrists and for the ankles made me nervous, and I think they should make you nervous too. If you think about it, maybe try applying a little bit of a heat before you put them on. Just enough to soften the plastic a little bit to make it more pliable. I don't think that they'll break. I had no issue with it. I didn't use heat on them myself, and it was actually cold in the studio, as it always is this time of year. All in all, they're pretty versatile. You'll have to play with them, try to find a balance. Sometimes they tend to fall over a little bit loose, but I really don't consider that to be a problem. It just took a slight adjustment here and there, and eventually it worked itself out, and I was able to make them look very dynamic. This is the second 8-scale figure that I've reviewed from Star Ace, the first one being their Harry Potter 8-scale figure. And I have to say that I'm really taken with the scale. It took a lot of guts on the part of Star Ace to come out of the gate with an all-new scale like this. And from what I've seen, they're really pulling out all the stops. They're showing total commitment to the line. From the collector's perspective, the benefits are obvious, not the least of which would be price. An 8-scale figure is quite naturally going to be quite a bit more affordable than a 6-scale or quarter-scale figure. Additionally, 8-scale figures address the issue of space. There's only so much room that anyone has on their shelves, and if quantity is of any importance to you whatsoever, then considering a smaller scale might be something you'd want to do. Ooh, almost forgot. One thing I want to call out, one thing that a collector should watch out for if you choose to get this. When you're posing the figure, be very careful about putting your thumb or any of your appendages using that Flash symbol on his chest as a pressure point. You don't want to break that off. I got the impression that it could probably come off if I wasn't careful with it. In summary, I'm sold. I like everything about this figure. Everything from the engineering of the body to the downscaling of the material choices on the costume to the sculpt of Barry Allen. It's great, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to be doing, if they're going to be doing anything else from that particular universe. Are we going to see a Supergirl, for instance? Are we going to see Green Arrow or any of his teammates? And let's not forget that there's a whole mess of characters from Legends of Tomorrow that can be tapped, like Firestorm, or the Atom, or Captain Cold. I'd really love to see some of those, and really hope that they make that kind of thing happen. Will they do it? I hope so, because companion pieces can really make this line thrive. Hope you liked the review. Tune in next time, and until then, be good to your plastic.